for everyone. Good
And
morning. Good morning, Sir Henry. And
Good morning.
good morning, Dr. Levita G. Cadernas. Thank you for gracing our simulation today, and we're very glad to have you.
My
And
pleasure, ma'am.
yes, ma'am, and we're looking forward to have a productive day today. And at this point, I would like to extend my gratitude to all the teachers of La Grande School, especially the English department, headed by Dr. Henry Siberinia and our dear master teacher, Ma'am Bernne, for encouraging us to come up with this different kind of approach. Um, we will have a modular approach, ma'am, Cadernas. So if we may call this is actually a blended learning. So we use modular approach with GC via Facebook. And later, ma'am, you will see a gist of the video because the video actually lasts. The total running of pro video, ma'am, is actually 4 hours because that was like we conducted like for 3 days, ma'am, and we try to edit everything, and we have it later like it's like 10 minutes, ma'am, and we hope that through the GC, we will try to reach out the students, especially those who are far-flung area, those who do not have the connectivity of the internet, so they could get by with education, especially during this pandemic. Thank you, ma'am.
Good
Yes,
Madam,
morning.
if I may, the video is kind of fast because the total video is 4 hours. So we just, from time to time, I try to post the video and explain what's happening, ma'am. Is it okay, Dr. Moncada and Dr. Cadernas? So
Yes,
I
sure,
sure. Sige.
sure, ma'am, sure.
thank
Okay,
you so much.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see it po?
Yes, Bern.
Sige, yes. Oo.
In this part, so we started the day with good morning, a pleasantry for, I'm inviting also students to set them in a very pleasant situation. So I try to get their rapport so they would feel confident because this is their first time they'll be joining a GC. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the pretest. As you can see, one student was able to show on the GC while she is answering the pretest. This part is the triggering of their minds because I shared the video. So the link is already shared on the YouTube. So I just shared the picture so they could identify what sort of video they're going to watch. So I have the question there. Does the photo remind you of the lesson that the video impart? The video is a wake-up call. I remind the students to be respectful and to avoid profanity. All the answers must be relevant, so they should respect one another. This is how the student respond. As you can see, I have a question and Kyle answered, face the conflict instead of breaking down to solve it right away. I put there an emoji heart icon, so meaning I responded on the answer of the student. Did you see the statements? So I am actually guiding them to look on the module. While we are conducting the GC, I instructed them to look on the module. So this is actually valuing, even on the start of the lesson, it's easy or hard to admit mistakes. Have you experienced facing a conflict? So I am actually encouraging them, steering up their minds to think and give responses. You can see the answer there. Yes, ma'am, face the conflict instead of breaking down to solve it right away. These are pictures I shared because the lesson is about overcoming challenges, and I use PWD, that these people are really productive, even they are PWD. So I just have a screenshot and share it on the GC. This one is actually another video on a YouTube. I share another screenshot. Actually, I got a surprise answer because the students is really enthusiastic on watching the video because he is into dancing. You can see there we are on the next phase. So I am guiding the students on the next part of the module. Any responses? So I try there. So there, the video will last 5 minutes. I instruct them so they could watch it in an enough time, ample time, so they could enjoy watching as well. So the student Cyrus has finished watching already. So he's the guy that I'm referring with. So I told him, let us wait for the others to finish watching the video. You can see the reactions there with all exams gradually. So he is actually giving already his reactions. You can see the reactions there, ladies and gentlemen. The video of them dancing were inspiring. The act was subtle and emotional. So I responded to the student, oh, I like the word subtle. You can see there, my fellow co-teachers and our visitors and Madam Principal, can I see your thumbs up here? Each one of you, if the video stirs up your emotion. So I am actually soliciting our responses so they could use thumbs up or any emoticons available on their cell phone. Can I see a thumb up answer? So I'm actually encouraging them to participate. This is the second day of, so the first day lasted for 1 hour. So the following day, we continue the lesson. I put there, say present to acknowledge that you are here. You can see the response of the students, doing great, I'm good, present, present. At the same time, I acknowledge their presence by giving them a thumbs up. Let us recall what transpired yesterday. So, because there is a continuity from what happened yesterday, so I gave another review on the second day. The student is able to recall the answers or what transpired on the lesson on the previous day. You can see there that the students are responding also to my statement. I see that the lesson yesterday has truly touched your mind, heart, and soul, and they give me the heart emoticons. At this point, I'm asking them if they're ready, if they have the access on the core of the lesson, which is the desiderata. So they also, in case the students could not access on the internet, on the module, there is an available copy of the desiderata. I also give them, so I told them like, if they have enough time to look on the video and to read the text. At this point, can you look at the part next to the video icon that says self-reflection? So it's an ongoing lesson. It is actually simultaneous. So the students should follow what is the part on the module that is being tackled. You can see the response of the students. I give them applause. Wow, guys, you are awesome. So I uploaded the answers. On the second part of the phone here, you will read the text all together. So I gave them enough time to read the text. And I also encouraged them to take down notes while they are reading the text. You can see the responses. If were they able to look on the text, I saw it, I saw it. So I responded accordingly how they answered. You can see here, some students could not follow or left behind a bit. So I told them perhaps I can give another 2 minutes extra for them to finish reading the text. Once you answered, yes, ma'am. Has everyone finished reading the text? So it depends on the learner, actually, as I said on disclaimer. It depends on the learner. Some are fast, some are kind of average, and some are slow. And here you can see the responses. Kindly go to the comprehension check. So they saw it on the module. I saw it, I saw it, I saw it, and I responded accordingly. You can see there that I actually like the answer of the students. So I said, that's a deeper analysis. So I gave a heart response and she also gave a heart response. I also encourage the male students because most female are really active because this is literature and they could relate as much as the male students can do. So I acknowledge some students who cannot participate or hesitant to participate. So I at least encourage them to answer. So here, the lesson, Dr. Cadernas, ma'am, the lesson is of comparison and contrast. Now we are entering the lesson. So I try to ask them in a Venn diagram. So desiderata versus analects. Here, you try to dignify and respect the answer of the student. So I put them, short answers will do. Because as you can see, prior to that, Martin is really a good student. He is really good in language. So he's able to give me a good response. So I always acknowledge other students who could just give me a short answers. I acknowledge Martin with his answer. Okay, there's one incident here that the student used advice ungrammatically. He said like advices. So I try to correct the student right away. You can see there. Please note that when you pluralize the word advice, it is used pieces of advice. So this is actually not part of the lesson, Dr. Cadernas, Ma'am Moncada, but I saw it that the urgency that the students should know how to use the word properly and accurately. That is, so they responded when they learn. So we do not pluralize the word advice by adding S. I hope you remember that right. This is not actually part of the lesson, but the student responded. every time I ask questions, I put emoticon smiley so they feel safe and comfortable. Raisa gave a good answer. So you can see she's really active. I responded accordingly. This part is mind-boggling because I asked them the perspective desiderata on what perspective and the analect on what views. So I encouraged them to give wild guess answer. It took them to answer, so I keep on paraphrasing the question and encourage them. You can see here, isn't this exciting? You are all triggered to think. They are actually thinking and wants to give the correct answer. So at this point, I find it very hard for them to answer. I give them another clue. So we were finished with the lesson. So I encourage them to proceed with the next part, what I can do on the part of the module. This is actually the creative part wherein they will execute how they understand the lesson in an aesthetic and creative artistic way. So the students gave the answer for the theme of the day, opportunities. Challenges are opportunities in disguise. So I responded with Martin, yes, right. So that is the end of the second day, entering the third day. Again, I'm checking the attendance. So I asked them to stay present. Can anyone tell me what transpired yesterday? Another review and to connect to the last day of the lesson. This is the part of a writing, Ma'am Cadernas, Dr. Moncada. So the lessons are actually a macro skills from viewing to reading to writing and grammar. On this aspect, ma'am, we are using now the structure of the grammar by using the context of desiderata and analects. So I encourage them. Today we will apply those apples of gold to our lives by writing good sentences, and we also create artwork to depicting the theme. The second part of the GC, so they're actually giving now the part wherein they identify the modal in the sentence. So I responded heart emoticons for each correct answer. So you can see there, bravo. You can see here, now I want you to construct just a simple sentence. Let us try to use them. Ready, guys? So I gave them enough time. So there's a signal, 3, 2, 1, go. They are actually constructing sentence at this point. Take note that I use the theme, the context, pandemic, or COVID-19 when they are writing sentence. You can see on the next part, the third part of the video, become a better person or subtype agree if you are with me. So they are with me, they agree, so they type the answers agree, and I responded. After the grammar lesson, we are entering on their final output. That is a montage of expressing themselves, how they understand the core of the lesson. So I gave them 5 minutes to draw. I encouraged them to execute in an artistic way. So I give them 5 minutes to illustrate their drawing, their understanding. So you can see sometimes there is like a typographical because the lesson is really fast and spontaneous. So you can see the signal. Okay, guys, you have 5 minutes in 3, 2, 1, construct. On the right side of the video, so I try to connect their first answers on the pretest going to the post-test because they need to identify how they fare on their lessons, on their performance with the lesson. While they are doing their drawing, I also played the video Desiderata to inspire them. I post it on the next slide. You can post your answers here in five items. This is actually on the post test. So I asked them if they're ready, type ready, and they responded accordingly. Take note that I encourage them. If some could not answer, you can submit your answer later by sending it to me via soft copy. That is the signal. Give me 3 minutes to answer the post test. In 3, 2, 1, I give them the signal. You can see on the left side, I give them the rubric to judge fairly the artistic work of the students. That is good, better, or best. You can see now the students are typing their answers on the post test. On the left side, this is the artwork shared by the student. So he drew on a piece of paper, he screenshot it and shared it on the GC. And I said, be proud of your work. Why did I say that? Because he said like, my work is ugly. And I said, be proud of your work. Another student is really good, and it seems like he has an access on the internet on that day. So he drew his representation with digital approach. So this is digitized. You can see the reaction of the student, mine ugly mom, but yeah, I did it. So he's proud. And I said like, that's collaborative work. Remember, you are an artist. There is no ugly output here. All your output is best for me. This is now the additional activity, a sort of assignment on the last part of the module. So I instruct them to write a memoir. So this is actually to be submitted on the latter part of the day, or instructed them that they could submit it over the weekend so I can download and rate their works accordingly. It says on the right part of the phone, take note that you are free to come up with creative presentation output in any aesthetic artistic forms. Please submit or send them here, either screenshot or soft copy. So we approached the end of the lesson, so I congratulated them and give them a blessing. So do not forget to submit your outputs over the weekend until Sunday. So there is like a time frame so they could follow the instruction and discipline them that they should meet the schedule accordingly. That is the end of the lesson, Dr. Cadenas, Dr. Moncada.